Hi, I'm Casey. This is the news. In case you hadn't heard, the election is over. President Obama was re-elected. Democrats maintain control of the Senate while the Republicans will continue to run the House. So for the next several months, we'll hear story after story and interview after interview where people will talk about how they were elected or re-elected to reach across the aisle and work together. Then, when they're all sworn in, Democrats will continue to try to raise taxes on everyone, and Republicans will continue to do, well, nothing. Everyone is the party of change at election time. Then, when the votes are counted, it's the same old crap. And reports from the other side of the world are saying that the Chinese are reacting very favorably to the Obama victory, which should tell you everything you need to know right there. The hurricane-ravaged areas of the Jersey Shore are bracing for the arrival of a nor'easter today, which is expected to bring strong winds and rain to an area that's in no condition to deal with it. Apparently, nobody told God that Snooki doesn't really live there. A proposed ban on public nudity in San Francisco has been approved by a city council committee, and since we don't live in a porno movie where everyone is perfect in every way, this is a good thing. A very good thing. Now, since there isn't anything else to discuss today, I'm going to give you my simple commentary on the election. This is meant to be neither funny nor clever, it simply is what it is. The problem with our election system today isn't the parties, and it isn't the candidates. It's you. You're the problem. The problem is that you don't go vote when it really matters. I'm talking about the primaries. The only people who vote in primaries are the hardcore liberals or the hardcore conservatives. Therefore, when the general election comes up, and most of you do care, your choices are limited. You either get a beaten and battered Democrat who had to move so far to the left to get the nomination that they can't get back to the center without looking like a hypocrite, or a beaten and battered Republican who had to move so far to the right to get the nomination that they can't get back to the center without looking like a hypocrite. Then, in the case of the president, who's in his second term and shouldn't have to care about these things, the House and the Senate and possibly their own vice president and cabinet won't budge because they either want to get reelected or they have aspirations of higher office and don't want to risk upsetting the hardcore members of their party, which are the ones who vote in the primaries. Sadly, this is a big problem, but it has a simple fix. You don't get to vote in the general election if you don't vote in the primary. Simple. That way, we will get candidates from both parties who can express the real ways that they would try and govern the country. The hardcore liberals and the hardcore conservatives would be relegated to the minority status that they already should hold. And the candidates we would get to pick from would be able to exist on a more moderate plane, which is where compromise exists, and which is where most of the people in the country exist. Polarizing figures such as Nancy Pelosi and Newt Gingrich would not only not be in positions of leadership, but in many cases they wouldn't even get elected. Plus, you wouldn't see as many votes that were cut right down party lines, because these people would have to go back to their constituents and explain themselves. It would not be an easy sell to a more moderate group. Now, to do this, all we need is a simple law. That's it. Again, you must vote in the primary to be able to vote in the general election. It adds one day that you have to go do something. In order to maintain the greatest country in the history of the world, we simply ask for one day. Not even a whole day, just the time it takes for you to go out and vote in the primary. If we don't do this simple thing, we will continue to have what we have now. Politicians who refuse to get things done, and leaders who aren't really leaders at all. And look where that's gotten us. That's the news. I'm Casey.